I can maybe start with, actually I'm reading this book about zero waste in Korean.
Oh, nice.
But it says that zero waste, it's making 100 to 0 is just impossible, but maybe this is more about making 100 to 99. And that one might look very small, but if everybody does it within their capability and capacity and continue, I think there's going to be a big difference.
So yeah, shall we just dive into the design process and just sort of bring this alive? And it's obviously great for us all to work together on this one particular project. And for me, it was very clear a long time ago when I first started sort of looking at ways of doing things better, that there's a real big environmental crisis going on in terms of, I'm living in Bali. Every day there's literally trash coming up on the beaches, and it's getting worse and worse. And it's not only Bali, it's a global emergency. There's literally plastic pollution is just becoming unbearable. And over the course of that journey, obviously Niam, I met you guys and saw the great work that you guys have been doing. And Niam, what sort of you guys are obviously collecting trash, working with trash pickers, and are doing a great job of recycling waste into new material. How did you guys begin that? Tell us a little bit about how you started and why you started.
Okay. So it was start since I'm in the college. So I was college in product design, and so I see that the problem of plastic waste is already impacting myself, my family, and my neighborhood. And I see wow, it's so crazy. So I start to doing something, experimenting with these materials. Maybe I can make something. I don't know when I start, and I just try experimenting with the material, and then I found the simple technique that we can make a product from it. We use only from the oven, and then we can melt the plastic and we make something new from it. So we start from that. And when I was graduate, and we start to run the business.
Fucking fantastic.
Quite often with these materials, that what lets it down in the end, what I've seen, especially sort of globally, is that the designs just aren't quite cutting it. So you have this great material, sometimes it's well finished, but the designs just aren't that interesting. And I think when we start looking at this collaboration where everybody comes in and uses their strengths, and obviously Peggy, with you as an artist, first and foremost, you've obviously got a real skill of making things look incredibly good, and also kind of amplifying that to a global audience, in terms of the work that you create appeals to a lot of people. And you came on board initially and came up with a chair which is quite unique. Obviously it's unique because it's recycled plastic, but it's a multifunction element to it. Do you want to just sort of talk through the concept design of that, Peggy, and what it actually is?
I love records and I love chair. And I think everything that I do needs to have a direct connection to my personal identity and interest and taste. And I was always interested in interior design. And I do spend a lot of time when I'm finding a record, and whenever I'm downstairs trying to find a record, I'm always either sitting on the floor or sometimes sitting in a chair. And this is one of the reasons why, I call it record chair, but it's not necessarily. The idea came from the records and the chair, my love for records and chair, but it doesn't have to be only record chair, if you know what I mean. It could also be a book. It can be anything. And it's so beautiful. And if you can make something that's useful, especially in my environment where I always need record shelf and chairs, why not?
I think it's cool because it's very rare. I make chairs all the time, but it's very rare that you have a chair that serves another function other than just to put your ass on. So it's kind of nice to have that little compartment underneath, and yeah, it serves two birds, one stone type of design. So.
There's a lot of other design I always wanted to do, so I hope this is not the first and last collaboration we do. Yeah.
I think hopefully this will be the start of many, you know. And like I said, we're not just doing it because we want to create a cool chair. We're doing this for purpose because it's a real sort of change that we're trying to make. You know, there's a crisis that we're trying to tackle, but we're doing it in a cool way through an artistic expression, incredible craftsmanship, and great material that you've been creating, you and your team in Surabaya. So yeah, I'm honored to be working with you all. And, yeah, hopefully we can kick off the video and show people the process and inspire people along the way, you know.
I realize that we are all part of the problem, but we can all be part of the solutions too. Yeah.
Well, you have a unique opportunity to define what cool is ultimately for people and show people that this is something worth talking about and it's the future. And so having you on board on a project like this really is, you know, people can work as hard as they want, but if nobody's seeing things and there's no awareness, then the change doesn't happen and on the scale that we need. And so
that's what I'm saying. It's not about making 0,
you know,
it's about making 100 to 99, and that one might look small, but if everyone does that one, I think it's already a huge step.
Yeah, right.
But it's about starting somewhere, and this is a great spot to be starting ultimately.
Right now it's a big experiment, right? It's very early stages, new material. We don't really quite know how it's going to react. What have been the challenges, and just talk us through your process?
When you guys contacted me at first at working on those items for Potato Head made out of the recycled plastic, my mind kind of exploded because I'm a carpenter. You know, my world revolves around wood and you know, building as beautifully as possible from such a, you know, kind of honored material. And when I looked at this, I was like, wow, it's not too different from wood. You can get boards, you can get you can use joinery, you can weld things together, and it like my mind exploded just because I thought to myself, this is the future, and I didn't even see it, even though it was right under my nose. So hats off to you for kind of opening my eyes and so many other people, which I know you've already done. I think what my biggest role in this is, you know, creating or changing a perception that plastic is a waste and dirty material, but rather to create something that's, you know, valuable from this, by way of taking the time to do beautiful like joinery. You'll notice like on the various items we've been doing, like dovetail joinery, all these kind of like what are considered to be complicated carpentry techniques that we're applying to this material. And it's you know, we want to give value to what we're doing, and we want to redefine plastic as a material that's not a single-use item. You know, we want to be building this chair, which I'm confident will last. It'll stand the test of time. You know, I'm hoping these chairs in 50 years' time are still in great condition, you know, are still simple enough a design, still practical enough to be used. And so it kind of brings up my next point, which is I read somewhere, or I was told somewhere, if you can make something that lasts twice as long, then you have the environmental impact of making it, right? And so my logic has always been, in woodworking especially, but now, you know, moving into this kind of new kind of project and new material, is to create products that I know will last a long time. So even though there is a carbon footprint from making that, just knowing that it will last that long, well, that's part of sustainability, right? And that comes through, one, good design, and two, proper craftsmanship. With this, is like you were saying, Peggy, this is garbage. No. This looks far too good to be garbage. Can't be. You know, to kind of have that light bulb moment in people's heads where they're like, oh, recycled is not a compromise. In fact, it's a upgrade. It's about creating a pride which has somehow been lost in crafts and art in Bali and in Indonesia as well, and continuing that heritage of, you know, and traditions of art, making things as best as possible.
But I don't know anything about wood, but how is that same as wood?
It's not too different from having a wood board. So when I cut a piece of the plastic, I use my table saw, which is the same thing that I use for cutting wood. When, for example, we do our dovetails, I use the same router bit to bring it all together. When we have a video or something, I think you'll get a better understanding of those parallels between the plastic and the wood, but it's surprisingly similar.
When we start like trash bank is really impactful because there's common economy aspect in there. So people and they even come to our studio and they see like these beautiful things out of trash, and they want to like collect their trash and they won't buy.
And this is the beauty of collaboration, right? So the great work that you're doing, Niamah, with the recycling, making these new great solutions. And then Avalon, you have been championing craftsmanship with your team of artisans, tirelessly in Bali for some time. And then, me and Peggy have connected doing this project, which will take it to a global scale. And I think none of us could have done it without each other, kind of thing. And that's the sort of beauty of collaboration. I think moving forward,
everybody brings something unique to the table, and I'm glad and proud to be a part of it. So thank you, everybody.
yeah, super insightful. And I think if we can, as you said, if we can make people feel good about buying this types of product, then we could instigate some change and collective power of what we're all doing. I think it could make that happen. So thank you so much, guys, for the insight. It's been super interesting, and super excited to get this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very exciting
Thank you,
discussion.
Exciting.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
It was nice meeting you too.
We throw away. But where's the way? A circular design exploration. Made from 20 kilograms of waste plastic.